Hey everyone, this is Jessie, and I'm out here at the falls tonight and just wanted to bring this little video to you about how to create miracles in your life, because for most people this is a season of miracles and it's a great time. And we just had snow about a week ago here, about a foot of snow, and you can see the colors are changing on the falls. That's the falls behind me, and I'm going to actually turn around just so you can get a grasp of what we have here. We have lights all over the place, and you might even hear a little music in the background. So you can kind of see it all here with me. But anyways, I wanted to bring in this month for my monthly video about how to create miracles, a talk and a chat about Pollyanna and Pollyanna's reality.
Okay, so would you guys...
And there's obviously going to be some people coming through as we do this, but in the Pollyanna reality, it's a whole different avenue and it's a whole different way of thinking. A lot of people, when they think of the story of Pollyanna, and they think, yeah, she was positive and she practiced maybe law of attraction or different things like that, but then many of them also figured, well, she didn't really live in a good reality, you know, she was really blind to a lot of things. But as I started to uncode Pollyanna, and I started to uncode about miracles, and what I found is that miracles stem from peace, and they stem from love. And of course you can see why that's such a perfect message this time of year and in this season. And through that, when I decode the aspects of Pollyanna and the Pollyanna world and the Pollyanna reality, what we have is we have two different things that really come up, or two key aspects that come up. And one of the big key aspects that follows through on that is about lessons learned. And another key aspect that comes through on it is about when we have lessons that are learned, we can go two different directions. We can fall into being a victim. We can sometimes become too blind when we're living in the positive space and not be ready for some of the dangers that can be around us. We can stop paying attention, let's say. But then we can also create another aspect, which is the Pollyanna reality, which involves the peace and the love as well. And with Pollyanna, she kept a touch of reality. But what made miracles happen? There were a couple of different pieces there. And one of them was about the piece of presence and being in the present moment. She recognized, she realized that life was challenging and life was tough, and that came and that hit home with her eventually as the story progressed on, for those that aren't familiar with the story. And she tried to be positive because that's what she saw in the moment. She made a choice that this is how I'm going to be. This is the attitude I'm going to have. And she brought as much peace and joy and happiness and love as she could to others and in the world. And so that was a big aspect of it, but it was that presence. She didn't worry about tomorrow. She knew people got sick. She knew things could happen, but she didn't worry about it. She stayed in the present moment and she held that peace. Now, another thing about Pollyanna, kind of towards the end of the story that I remember, is she got very fascinated and very interested by the prisms and the rainbows that came through from the crystals or the glass hanging in the window. And if it's shaking a little bit on the camera, it's a little bit cold out here tonight. We're kind of dipping down to the low 30s, upper 20s, somewhere in there. So it's a little bit chilly out. But anyways, when we look at that, one of the key things was her interest in the light, and she connected with the light, and she relayed to being the light. And this is another big piece. When we're creating miracles, we have to become the light. Not only is it about the peace and love that's within us, but it's about being that light. It's about being a light bearer. And when we look at light, light is very interesting because it taps into serendipity. It taps into divine will. And that can be very scary because a lot of people think, oh my gosh, that can be some crazy stuff that starts happening with divine will. But in reality too, it's about synchronicity and it's about divine timing, and it is about letting go and realizing that yes, strange accidents can happen. And it actually taps into the energy of strange accidents and fatality, which most people will associate as bad all the time, but it's actually not bad all the time, because when we look at that type of energy, one of the things that we see with it is that it also is about upsetting what is not working, what is ready to come to an end, and what needs to come through. So we actually have some really cool pieces about that energy that come through. And as we bring it all together, it's also about creating a revolution in this energy. But one of the things about being a light bearer is light bearer literally codes out to being a person or seed of light in the world, and full of colors and full of everything. And that's really when we look at the light, like the light of the rainbow. It holds all these colors and you can't even see it a lot of times. But I thought too this was really appropriate for this season, because so many people, especially spiritual workers and light workers, they are that light in the family. They are the light bearer, and they're going into a family and they're going into darkness. Well, Pollyanna was that light as well. She was the light bearer, and she was bringing the joy and peace into the world. And sometimes that's not easy to hold on to. Sometimes that's not an easy thing to be. But what is amazing is the miracles happen in that light. Over and over again, it breaks through the darkness when we're willing to be in that light. So when we look at miracles, we look at presence, and we look at being the light in things, and we look at the aspects of being willing to stand and to be in peace and in love. And that is simply a choice. Not always easy, I get it, but when we choose that and we say, I'm going to be in this space, that's where the miracles happen. So you too can create miracles in your life. Learn your lessons, operate, take action from the space of wisdom, be in the peace, stand in the heart center, and let it all out. And let this be a season that you really create the miracles. Take care, everybody. Peace and love to you. And if you want to find out more about my work, you can do so at Jessie Ann Nichols George, Jessie Ann Nichols George, the number one.com. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.